Computer audio. Hey, now it should work. I feel official. Here we go. So, quick crash course on this because you guys read about it and did it the other day. Step one of level 4 analysis was to identify, right? You need to decide what is the map projection, what is it of, and how is the information being displayed. So, what is the projection of this map?
Population?
Projection. How is it drawn? How is it distorted? Your choices are Mercator, Robinson, or Peters. Yes?
I want to say
Robinson, it's got curves. Robinson has curves. I think the old, what is it? Simon and Garfunkel song, Mrs. Robinson.
Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, Mrs. Robinson had curves. I know, totally inappropriate, but it works. So this is a Robinson projection of, what is it of? Be more exact. Remember, there are 3 kinds of maps: physical, political, and thematic. Thematic is everything else, right? If it's a thematic map, what do you have to do? You read the title, and then you know what it's of. So what is this map of? World population distribution. So world pop distribution. How are they showing the information? Yes. Dots. Using, I can spell, dot distribution. You've now done step 1. This is what you should probably be writing down on the back of the paper so you have a sample and you can check what you did at home and how you did. So, we know how it's distorted, so we know what's going to be moved around or different on the map. We know what it is of, and we know how they're displaying information. Would this map tell me something different if it was a choropleth map? You know, the one that has the colors. Okay, so I've got dots that tell me exactly where my population centers are at, right? Now, the choropleth map, it would be all averaged in by country, wouldn't it? Would I have the same level of information? No, I would not. So how the information is displayed matters, right? Okay, step 2 was to make a statement, to observe something. It is a simple I see statement. You just don't have to write I see. You do not tell me why. So, someone asked about hard boundaries earlier. I noticed there's a hard boundary along northern India. That's my first observation. Hard boundary, northern India. Okay. What other observations can you make using your vocabulary from the other side if possible? What other observations can we make? Yes, sir.
A soft fuzzy boundary in eastern North America.
In eastern North America, there's kind of a soft boundary. There's a soft boundary along northern Africa. What else do we see? Yes.
In a lot of places, there's more population near the coast.
Coast? Coast has more people. Okay. What else do we see? We need 2 more. Yes, ma'am. We see large areas of the map where there's little to no population. For large areas, no population. Yes?
Extreme temperatures have no population either.
Ah, you just told me why.
Yes.
You see the difference? There are large areas that have no population. I can just look at it and say, I see this. There you go. There are no dots there. Okay? Or to come back to your thought. Yes. There are dense populations along the eastern coast of China. Did you notice too that there's more population on the east coast of the United States than the west coast?
Yes.
Did you notice, and maybe you can't see it from where you're at, so I'm going to point it out. There's a line of population right along here. And there's kind of a fuzzy line that comes across here. But if you were able to zoom in real close, there's some real distinct lines across the United States too. So now I made my observations. Yeah? Is the map starting to look a little bit different now that you're really paying attention to what you see? Now, step 3 is tell me why. So, this nice long young lady already gave us an example of why. Those areas that don't have population, maybe it's an extreme climate. Maybe it's an extreme climate. Maybe there's mountains. M-O-U-N, I cannot spell today. You see how that's different now? Because now it's not just extreme climate, it's also, well, that may be because there's a mountain range there. Because, you see what I'm on this? Maybe that area is being used for something else, like farming. I don't know. So now I would try and think of as many reasons as I can for each of these. Farming, maybe? I don't know. Come up with some ideas. So take a moment right now and jot down a few ideas you have that might explain some of what you see or don't see. Just take a quick moment to do that. Okay, give me some ideas. Yes, sir.
There's more people, or there's more population on the east side of the USA than the west side, because that's the area that was like created first.
That area was settled first. That makes sense, right? He's using his basic background knowledge. He's using a little bit of common sense. And he's saying, does this work? Does your answer have to be right and perfect? No. But does it have to at least make some sense? Go for it. What else?
Would there potentially be bigger population near high, traffic areas or transportation such as railway lines or airports?
Okay, so those lines across the map that I saw. Maybe, because I learned when I watched the cartoon Cars years ago, maybe people tend to form cities along where there's already a transportation network around roads. Guys, that's the Silk Road, or what was the Silk Road. That is the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Those lines in the U.S. are where there's major freeways. So she's onto something there. Would you have noticed that the first time I put up the map? You see how this helps you take a map apart. So settlement patterns. We start seeing settlement patterns. What else? Yes, ma'am.
Since people live by the coast, it's probably for the weather.
Maybe they like the weather in that area. Let's take that a step farther. If I live by a coast, there's probably water entering off of rivers into the ocean, right? Which means there's going to be fresh water. There's going to be an area to farm. There's going to be an area to fish. There's going to be an area to, you see what starts happening here. Okay, what else?
People may also live on the coast because it's easier to get transport to other areas.
Maybe because of trade and transport later on. Sure. Are all of these making a little more sense? Yes, ma'am, give me one.
People don't live in America. It's cold.
Too darn cold. Yeah, extreme climates. Okay, your next step, step 4. So what? Step 4 is where you get to make an educated guess. Educated, supportable, based upon what you see. Think science, right? So when I look at this map and I see the patterns of those dots, and I think about these issues, could I start making predictions? How is this going to affect the people in the area? What could affect the people in the area? What is this map going to maybe look like 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now? How is it going to change? Can I then support that thought and idea? That is what step 4 is. So my thought is that because we have these transportation networks, I think that those lines are going to become more visible over the next several years as more people spread out and settle along those transportation lines. Possible? Sure. Do I know 100% it will happen? No, but can I support it with what I see? That's what you're after. Make a prediction, make a so what statement, make a connection. Go. What did we come up with? Got a couple of these. Go ahead.
So, I mean, some of the law of the empty spaces, I would say that they would be filled off quite a bit.
Okay, so he's gonna be a possibilist. In our
Yes.
environmental terms, a possibilist. And he's gonna say, I think that as technology changes
Yeah, that's.
and people need the space, those empty areas are gonna start filling in. Does that work? Can we support it? Heck yes. Give me another.
My thought is that looking at population graphs, that there are going to be a lot more dots, and so areas like that, Eastern China are going to become more prevalent throughout the world as there are more people settling.
So we're gonna start seeing more dense clusters throughout the globe, and that the clusters we have are gonna get bigger. What do you think?
On cases where a really high population might have more poverty, they can go access to computer.
So she's wondering, as these areas get bigger and as they spread out, will they have equal access to resources? I'm thinking that if there's a major disease that breaks out, it's probably going to show up in the cities, these big urban areas faster. Yeah. Okay, we're going to end up with some overpopulation issues along these coastlines, aren't we? Potentially. We'll talk about the definition of overpopulation later and why I use that term instead of what you did. We'll start next year. Okay. Does level 4 analysis make more sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You probably have more detail now than you did the other day. If I were to show you this one now, and tell you that this is a map of Facebook connections. It says, give me a quick analysis. Could you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go turn the video off. Just take a second and just kind of think about what you could write on this.